Hey everybody, I'm going to walk you through the way I would do the rocker arm design. It's the process in the book is really good. I want you to do it both ways and try it both ways. But you don't have to turn it in one time. So, and of course you're turning in all your drawings in this unit as one drawing. You're just going to put spacing between them, a couple inches between them, give or take. That being said, I need to stop right there. So let's look at the adjustable support and how I would do that, just to give you some background. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my template inches. Pop, it's open. Now I'm going to cut my grid off just because, like I told you before, I'm not a big fan of the grid. And I'm going to cut my UCS icon off also. Just because, again, I just don't care for it to be on. You can leave it on if you'd like. Okay, so there, now that's off. So I'm going to start. I look at my size of this thing and I realize that everything basically hinges around that bottom corner. So I'm going to start with that 1-inch diameter circle. I'm going to click, I'm going to drop down and go to diameter. Now I don't have to do that. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to go back and show you that typically circle radius is on top. If I click on circle radius, if you notice down here it says specify center point. So I'm going to pick a center point just out in space. But then I'm going to click on diameter. At this point now I'm doing diameter, so I'm going to type in 1 and enter. So there's that circle. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so I can see it just by rolling my roller wheel away from me. Mashing the roller wheel down and holding it, I can pan. Rolling it away from me, rolling it back toward me, makes things smaller. It moves along wherever your cursor is at. So always pay attention to where your cursor is, okay? All right, so now I need another circle. I will do diameter this time just right out of the gate. I'm going to use the same center point. Notice when I hit this circle, it shows me that center point. I'm going to click on it, drag out, and I'm going to type in 2 for this one. So now I've got those 2 circles done. So that's pretty quick and painless right there. Okay, so that's my start. Now the next thing I'm going to look at is the slotted end, the elliptical end. Kind of looks like a kidney bean. If you notice from the center out, it gives me a dimension of 3 inches to that center point of that ellipse out there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say circle, but I'm going to use radius this time because that is a radius. Again, I want the center point. Click. Drag out and type in 3 and enter, and that's 3 inches away. So there we go. That's got that out there where it needs to be. Okay, so now what I need is, if you notice, horizontally out from the center point is the center of the arc down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to draw me a line out from this. I'm going to find my center point again, just draw me a line out. Now I am working everything in object layer right now. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and click on these 2 with a clean command line, drop down and make these center lines. Doesn't hurt a thing. But if you notice, it automatically goes back to object layer because that's the one I had set up. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this line. So I'm going to go to copy. Notice what it says down here, copy, select objects. Well, there's the object that I want, so I'm going to click on it. I've selected it. Remember, this thing's like a 3-year-old. It says select objects. It's going to keep doing select objects till I tell it to quit. So I'm going to hit my right mouse button because that's enter. Okay. And at that point, I'm no longer doing it. Now it says pick base point. Well, I want to pick the end point. And now where am I going to put it back? Well, I could put it anywhere on the screen, but I'm actually going to lay this right back on top of it. So I click the end point again. The reason why, now I'm going to go to rotate. I'm going to click. If you notice that line looks a little thicker than the rest of them, it's telling you there's 2 laying on top of each other. So I'm going to click on that one time. I'm going to hit enter. Now it says specify base point. Here's my base point of rotation. Now it says specify angle. Those 2 angles are 40 degrees apart, so I'm going to type in 40. There's my 2 center points for those arcs. Pretty easy. So now I'm going to go back into circle, and I've got a 1-inch diameter. So I want to make sure that I'm using diameter, but I'm going to click here as my intersection. I'm going to go to diameter, and I'm going to say 1. So there we go. I could do the exact same process here, or I could use copy again. Let's use copy. Copy, circle, and hit enter. Pick the midpoint or the intersection. Now pick this intersection. Those 2 are in the right place. Pretty simple, right? So now we need lines hitting here and here, arcs hitting here and here. There's a couple of ways of doing this, but honestly, the easiest way of doing it is to do a circle and go to tangent, tangent, radius. So I'm going to go to tangent, tangent, radius. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to pick on this circle. I'm going to pick on this circle. And now my radius, if I look at it, so I need to know how big it is out to that point. Well, that's a 1/2 inch back to there. This was a 3-inch circle, so it should be 2.5. 2.5. And what do you know? There it is. Okay? It comes out pretty nice and clean on us that way. All right? So now when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and trim away what I don't want. So I'm going to go into trim. It says select objects as my cutting edge. Look up here. Select cutting edge. I'm going to pick that circle and that circle as my cutting edge and hit enter. Now it says select object to trim. Well, I want to get rid of the part that you want to get rid of, not the parts you want to keep. So I'm going to click out here. There it is. Pretty cool. Okay. Now I could do the very same process and put one over here on this side. Or I could go and hit offset. How about this command? Offset. Specify distance for offset. Well, I know it's 1 inch across, so I'm going to go 1 inch and hit enter. And it says, all right, specify object. Click here, come out. What do you know? It puts it exactly in the right place. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. So now I'm going to go to trim again. This time I'm going to use this and this as my trim. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to get rid of these two parts of my circle. And there's my little kidney bean shape. Well, now what we've got out here is we've got a 1 inch radius out here. Okay, so this was a 1 inch diameter. Now we've got a 1 inch radius. So again, I can do the very same process and offset and do all that good stuff. So the other thing, though, that I could do is I could use offset and think about it. It's a 1 inch radius. So it's 1 inch from here to here and 1 inch from here to here. Well, right now, how far am I from here to here? Yeah, I could go in and measure if I wanted to. Say distance. Click here, and it's going to say, oh, you are a ½ inch out. That's how far you are out. Well, that makes sense. So, how about if I did use offset? Offset, 0.5, offset that, offset that, offset that, offset that. That's a whole lot easier, isn't it? Okay, so there. Now that's in the right place. Now all I need at this point is these two big arcs out here. And I'm going to trim up and clean up a little bit. So when I go to do this, what I want to do here now is I want to go ahead and figure out how to put this arc in here. So again, I'm going to go to circle. I'm going to use tangent radius. So I'm going to click on that. First point of tangency is back in here somewhere. I'm just going to get close. I don't have to be right. Second point of tangency is out here somewhere. Now what's my radius? It's 5. There it is. Trim. I'm going to click on this edge and this circle as my cutting edge. I'm going to hit enter. Now pick the part I want to get rid of. Poof, there it goes. Now I'm going to do tangent radius, and I'm going to click in here and in here. And this time I'm going to give it a radius of 3. And look, it throws it to the inside. Convex arc, concave arc. There's actually a lot of math to do that with. We won't get into that right now. It's not hard, but we won't get into it. Hit trim. Again, circle and arc. Hit enter. Click on what you want to get rid of. There it is. Okay. So now all I need to do is clean up my center lines. A center line typically extends 1/4 of an inch past circular feature. So let's do offset again. This really comes in handy. And I'm going to type in 0.25 as my distance. I'm going to offset this 0.25 and this 0.25. Okay. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm going to use that trim command again. I'm going to use these two arcs as my cutting edge. So that one and that one. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm also going to trim these two back to the right distance. Click and click. There we go. Now I'm going to hit escape to get out of the command. I'm going to delete this, or I can use the erase key, either one. Both of them work. Okay. Now I need to carry out my center lines out here. So I can take this center line. Watch this. This is really neat. Instead of doing the offset and going to it, I could use extend. I'm going to click on it. Now I'm going to drag this. This is called a grip. If I get it by the end point grips, I can drag them and make them longer. If I get it by the middle, I can move the entire line. So I'm going to click on that grip. Now it turns red. I'm going to come out to the quadrant. I'm going to click on it again, drag out. This time I'm going to type in 0.25, tell it to go 1/4 of an inch further. Pretty cool, huh? Works out neat. Now, ooh, it went away because I hit my enter key. All you got to do when you do that is hit the undo button and it'll come back. Every once in a while, AutoCAD will do that, okay? So now I need a vertical center line here. Watch this. This is fun. I'm going to hit mirror. It says select object to mirror. I'm going to click on this. A mirror makes an identical object just like it around a mirror line. Well, it's easy if I'm going from here to here or from here to here. That's easy. But I can also mirror along a 45 to get a 90-degree angle. This is kind of neat. So watch what I do. Mirror, I've selected that. I hit enter. It says pick your base point. Well, right there. Now pick my next point. I'm going to drag out and let it lock at 45 degrees. Remember, I set up my object snap, my object tracking to go 45 degrees. There it is. Click. Do I want to erase my source object? No. So there it is. This line is at the right length. This one's too long. I could offset and trim to it, or I can click on it, drag it back to the circle, click on it, drag it back up, and type in 0.25 and hit escape. There it is. There's my object. It's done. They did extend this center line on out a little bit further. I would typically stop here if it's not really tight to anything. The only place that concerns me is right here. This is a little messy right in here, but otherwise it's not bad. Okay, so there's my drawing. Now, to start my next drawing, what I would do is I would take a line just to make it easy on me, and I would just hover right in here and then start dragging across. Notice I did not click. I just started dragging across, and I'm going to tell it 2 inches. It still says specify first point down at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to say 2 inches and hit enter. There's my first point. So right there is where I would start my next drawing. So I would start my journal bracket right there. That gets me 2 inches away, okay? So that just tells you how to get more than one drawing on a page. All right, so that's how I would do if it was me when I got the drawing started. Flip back in my book. That's how I would do the adjustable support. There's more than one way to do it, but that's just my method. You can try something else if you'd like. As long as we come up with the same answer, we're good. Now, you should be able to do it in a fairly decent amount of time. If it takes you a day and a half to do it, you might want to try a different way. Okay? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. Thanks. Have a great day.